It is Thursday, and so it begins. Normally, the first Thursday of the NCAA Tournament is one of the all-time great days of the year. I mean, you've got wall-to-wall college basketball practically from sunrise to the following sunrise. Then you've got a few hours to reset, recover, refuel, rehydrate, and then you run it all back on Friday. Normally. Not this time around. Not this year. This time around, Thursday is not that full-on Golden Corral buffet of basketball. What we're getting is kind of like a sampler platter, a tasting menu, if you will. 4 games in one day. Ask me, it's still good. It's still a really good thing. In fact, it's great. You don't have to worry about ODing on tournament crack or going on some crazy bender that takes you down before you even make it to the first weekend. It's kind of like a heat check, you know? You run through your setup. You run through your operation. You make sure you've set everything up just right so that when it is time to completely come off the rails at go time, then you can. Then you're ready. So, do you have what you need? Have you set it up in the right way? Is the TV in the right spot? How's that couch feel? How long does it take you to get from the couch to the kitchen to get your supplies? You can time all of that out today and make sure you have it right. Again, consider it like a pregame walkthrough. It's like a football team walking the field before the game in T-shirts and shorts, getting some light work in just to make sure that everything is ready to go. Today is the day to work out the kinks before the real show gets underway tomorrow. Now, don't get it twisted. It does start today. In fact, it starts in only a few hours. Roughly 2 hours after I get off the air, the NCAA Tournament is going to get underway. Texas Southern going up against Mount St. Mary's. And as the Mountaineers head coach, Dan Ingolstadt, said on this show yesterday, his guys are fired up. They're ready to go. Then that's going to be followed up by Drake and Wichita State. You got a pair of 11s getting after it. Drake is the at-large from the Missouri Valley Conference. They have not played in 2 weeks. They've got to go without their star, Roman Penn. They're going up against a Wichita State team that had its program rocked when Greg Marshall was dismissed. But Isaac Brown took over, and he's done a hell of a job. Then you chase that with App State and Norfolk State. And if you're looking for Jungle Karma to decide that game, good luck with that, because both coaches came on and both killed it. Dustin Kearns came on the show Tuesday. He was awesome. Robert Jones came on yesterday. He most definitely lived up to all the hype. Good luck picking that game. Like App State is a slight favorite, but I can make as good an argument for either side. Then we close out tonight with Michigan State and UCLA. Tom Izzo and Mick Cronin. A couple of Titans going up against each other. 2 of the most iconic programs in the entire sport going up against each other on the first night. We get all of that on the first night. And I'll take that. I'll take that on the first night. All damn night. UCLA coming in, having lost 4 straight. Last 2, though, were by a total of 5 points, but 4 straight. Michigan State's coming in off a win over Michigan, and then a loss to Maryland, which left Tom Izzo bent. In a year where you cannot predict anything, this is another game that's just too close to call or predict. But for right now, what we have is the calm before the awesome. Everything is great. Your bracket is still in perfect, pristine condition. Hell, you could even make some last-minute changes if you want. And I might. I might if I were you, especially when it comes to the West and the Midwest regions. Yesterday we learned that Oklahoma, the 8 in the West, who's going to face off against Missouri on Saturday, is going to play that game without their second leading scorer. Lon Kruger announced that Davion Harmon is out for the first 2 games after testing positive for COVID. Nobody else on the team has tested positive, so it could have been much, much worse. In fact, it's kind of a miracle to me that nobody did, but I'm glad. So, still not good. In fact, it's pretty awful, but it could have been worse. A team, though, losing its second leading scorer to a positive test right before the start of the tournament sucks. Sucks for the team, Sucks for the player, sucks for everybody involved. You work so hard all season to avoid COVID. You do all the right things, everything in your power to make sure this doesn't happen, and then it happens at the worst possible time. Then last night, Jeff Goodman dropped this tweet, quote, breaking, Georgia Tech will be without star big man Moses Wright for the Yellow Jackets' first-round game against Loyola Chicago, sources told me, and at Brett McMurphy. So that's not really just Moses Wright. That's Moses Wright, ACC Player of the Year, the guy who averaged nearly 24 and 10 in their last 6 regular season games. So now Georgia Tech's got to go without him, and they've got to go up against Cameron Krutwig and the Ramblers. You talk about a package blast. Better yet, a blast to the package. The selection committee already did not do Georgia Tech any favors when they put the ACC champs up against one of the best teams in the country, and now they've got to go without their big man. So they've got to deal with Loyola and Porter Mosier and Sister Jean and the culture wall and Cameron's mustache. If you're going to deal with all of those things and you're Georgia Tech, you got to come with your best. And they're not coming with their best, not without their best big. And now they've got to deal with that. They've got to go smaller and try to throw bodies at Cameron and his stash. Have fun with that. Speaking of having fun, here's my advice. As we close in on tip-off, be sure to enjoy this. Enjoy the hell out of this. Because right now, 67 games feels like a ton of games. That feels like that's going to go on forever, but it won't. In fact, it's going to go fast. It always goes fast. Really, really fast. We've got 4 today. Then you've got a fat slate tomorrow and Saturday. Thanks, Rit. Then, before you know it, your bracket is already jacked up. Half the games are already over. So make sure you enjoy this. We've waited 2 years for this to happen, and now it's finally here. I'm going to be real with you now. Like, I got so fired up for it. I got so caught up in it. Not only did I fill out my bracket, I checked my online accounts. I made 22 bets, like over the last 22 hours. 22 bets. And at least a third of them I have completely forgotten about already. I'm like, wow, I hit those guys 4 times? Like, I forgot that I hit those guys 3 times already? 22 bets. I'm ready, man. Let's do this. I can't wait to get this going. Let's do this. You've got the first 4. How you playing those games? Who you got? Who you like? Who's in your Final Four? I'll fire it up for you. Or it for you. Or you for it. Perform. 1-800-636-8686. You got to understand, normally I dabble. That's the word I always use. I dabble. Look, I dabble. I bet. I gamble. I own racehorses, and I bet games. I do. Not 22 of them, though. 22 bets. You know, I normally say, hey, I'm not a degenerate or anything. Yes, I am. I am right now. 22. Bets spread over multiple accounts. All about it. Can't wait. Cannot wait.